Cooperation will save the party every time. I live by this belief because I've seen it over and over again, and last night was no exception. After an unreasonable amount of technical difficulties, we finally got things moving with our We Out Here crew and got our game session underway. And if I remember correctly, last night was what I'm calling session 4, because that's when we started recording. So we're up to session 4 in our recordings, which, good news, we all had a conversation last night and decided, as part of the reason we had the tech difficulties, we decided that I'm gonna start posting these videos for y'all to watch and check out the silliness that we get up to on Tuesday evenings. So look forward to that coming soon. Now back to the topic at hand, of course, cooperation. Oh my goodness, last night the crew came together. It was so awesome. They had basically met each other. That is, 2 of the members of the party, Holg and Dario, met up with Oscar 2 sessions previously. And in the 2 previous sessions, they had some great interaction, some very good role playing, and once today, I think what happened, or sorry, last night, I guess I need to say, last night what happened, but today what I want to talk about is that last night they had some great role playing again, and then we had a harrowing combat, and that solidified this group of 3 warriors. This was incredible. So we got into this combat, and it was fun for me because it was the way it went down was lots of fun to role play, and I was able to pull a trick or a trap off. That's what it was. It was like one of those moments as a DM, you're like, woohoo! So that was fun. They walked right into it kind of moment, right? Which was excellent. And whether or not they did it, having the foresight to think, oh, we're probably walking into a trap, but let's see what happens, or if it was totally unexpected, I'm not sure. I'll have to find out from the guys whether that was the case. However, it was super fun, and then that trap triggered combat that was super intense, like literally could have led to a TPK. What was amazing about it is that these 3 characters fell into their roles so perfectly, it was unbelievable. Holg is our barbarian, right? So he had the first action. He rolled the highest initiative, which was awesome. So he goes charging into the fray to fight this monster. And they are basically, I don't want to spoil too much. I will only say this. I'm going to say they have to fight a monster that at their level would be really unreasonable. Luckily, this monster was handicapped a little bit, and so they were able to somehow manage to get through this combat. And here's what happened. Hulk goes in to face it head on. You know, he goes in swinging with his saber. Now, he also rages, of course, before he gets into combat. And so that was probably one of the most clutch moves in this combat. Him remembering, oh, I need to go ahead and rage right out of the gate. Of course, right? He's a barbarian. That's his shtick. Well, that meant that he was taking half damage from the ridiculous amount of slashing damage he was subjected to. And the next thing that happened is that we had Dario, who is, let me conclude. So the great things about the tanking done by Holg was that, A, he was able to soak massive amounts of damage because he was raging. Then on top of that, he didn't even he absolutely had to use his relentless endurance to keep him alive because he's half orc. So that saved the day. And on top of that, he was like using some of his reckless attacks to like what he did is he saved it. So he went in with his sword and shield, smart move, raised his armor class at the beginning of the fight, took a bunch of hits, but then was able to hold his own. And then once the creature started looking like it was taking a lot of damage, which I'll get to in a moment, then he dropped his shield, grabbed his dagger, and now he's two-weapon fighting, trying to get some extra damage. And then ultimately he also, like at that last couple rounds, he started recklessly attacking, which meant he was taking more damage, but it also helped him to dish out more damage. So that was awesome. So great decisions made by Austin, who plays Hulk. Now, next thing that happened is Dario. Dario is he's our warlock in the party, right? And he's sort of, it wasn't starting out this way, but has sort of moved into the role of the damage dealer of the party. And I gotta say, Sam made some really smart choices last night. So one of the cool things that Dario has picked up along the way is a wand of magic missiles. And Dario has been very, very conservative with using it because he doesn't want to run out of charges, right? And run the risk of the wand fizzling out in a clutch moment and go, yeah, and that's the end. Well, what he did do though was twice he pulled out that wand of magic missiles, fired it effectively twice, and rolled amazingly well for the damage after he had hexed the creature. So he not only did he get solid damage with the magic missile from the wand, he also added in a little bit on top from his hex damage. Brilliant move. So, oh my god. And that damage is probably what helped save the day. Now, I mean, all three of the players and all three of the characters could be given equal credit because our new addition, Oscar, our illustrious and flamboyant bard, he was clutch because out of the gate, he and Dario stayed back. This combat was perfectly maneuvered by the players because Hulk pinned their opponent. They pinned the monster back in the corner, and then Dario and Oscar were able to stay back out of harm's way and be the support and damage dealing characters that they were in this fight. And so Oscar, right out of the gate, throws Bane on the creature. Brilliant! Brilliant! You don't think that D4 is going to mean much, but I tell you what, a D4 can be night and day. It can be the balm in the ointment. It can be that thing that saves the day. I have a feeling on some level this helped because if Hulk, the barbarian, went down in this combat, the creature would have shredded him. It probably would have killed that character and then gone on to murder the other two player characters, which would have been tragic and horrendous. But that didn't happen because Oscar was able to A, debuff the monster by putting Bane on it and maintaining it because he never took any damage, and then B, he 2 or 3 times he went over. Let's see, he healed Hulk at a clutch moment. Hulk was down to like 1 hit point or something, and he healed him back up by 9 or something, or 2-9 or whatever it was, and so like kept Hulk on his feet for 1 extra round. Oh no, I think Hulk was down to 3 hit points and got healed up by Oscar, and then went down to that 1 because of his half-orc trait. So, I'm running out of breath because it was such I hope I'm conveying how exciting this combat was, because that's how I felt for sure, and I think that's how the others felt, the players felt in this combat. It was really intense. And so Oscar, like, between his bardic inspiration, which helped Hulk do a little bit, make a couple extra hits, and then on top of that, healing at just the exactly perfect moment to keep Hulk from going down, which was awesome because, you know, when you're a healer, there's always this balancing act of like, do I let them go down and then revive them, or do I try to prevent them from going down in the first place? I will touch on that in another video because that's a super important topic for healers, and I want to delve deeply into that another time. So I'll get to that when I get to that, but stay tuned for that. So hey, I really just want to say bravo to the players for choosing to use their abilities and play their characters so brilliantly last night, because it was, even though it was a short session, because of the technical difficulties and getting set up for recording and all that, even though, in spite of it being a short session, it was an incredibly memorable and really fun session to play. So because they cooperated and worked as a team, they absolutely survived this combat with style, in my opinion. I awarded them the next level 4, because I was so impressed with how well they worked together. They create, the characters now have this like bond of friendship, which was, it was sort of there, it was a little, but it was a little like kind of like, oh, you know, okay, it was sort of loosely formed. But after this combat with those stakes, it was super cool to watch and play out, and it's, I absolutely contributed. In my opinion, I absolutely contributed to cooperation. They worked together to overcome this challenge, this foe, and it was awesome. Whew, I'm totally out of breath, guys. Oh my goodness. Tonight I've got Ice Spire, the Dragon of Ice Spire Peak, so I get to be a player in what is probably going to be a thrilling game session tonight, and I'll tell you all about that tomorrow. Thanks for joining me. Keep rolling 20s, and remember, it's your game. Play your way. We finally got an amazing session. I can't even talk right today. Let's try that again. After an amazing session of, that's 2 in a row. The characters oh my God, my brain is just a fog today. Let's try this again.